We are the only company, I think, which does reverse osmosis treatment for our water because we wanted the highest quality water to be used, especially drinking water and the water in the pools. Give people what they want from an experience standpoint, but at the same time make it affordable wherever possible. Consumer would not have that kind of a spending capacity because we are still a developing country. We were a developing country 40 years ago when I was a child. Even now, we still talk about India as a developing country. So I think we still have a long way to go before we can truly unlock what an Indian consumer can spend on something like this. So we knew early on that we had to build something that was world class, but at the same time accessible for a large section of society.
Today on the Expressions podcast, we're thrilled to welcome someone who knows exactly how to turn everyday moments into unforgettable adventures. Joining us is Arun Chittilappilly, a key force behind one of India's most iconic amusement park brands, Wonderla. With over a decade of experience in brand building, customer engagement, and experiential innovation, Arun has helped shape Wonderla into more than just a theme park. It's become a household name that blends thrill, joy, and family fun across generations. In this episode, we dive into a world of roller coasters and more, from the science of designing joy to the strategy of keeping a legacy brand fresh and relevant in the digital age. Join us for the ride.
So, growing up in a business family, what were your earliest memories of being involved and watching your father's entrepreneurial journey?
My dad's a very hands-on entrepreneur. So in the 80s, when I was growing up, the business was still very small. He had taken a loan from my granddad and started this V-Guard business. And so my earliest memories was seeing my dad design stabilizers, these voltage stabilizers. That's our first product. So he used to literally get carpenters to come and make the mold, like a mock-up using wood, and then get it painted so it looks like a stabilizer. So, and he used to bring those home, and then he used to ask us what we thought about it. So obviously we were too small to understand too much about it, but I think it gave us a idea of how he used to think about things and what he took inspiration from. He used to take inspiration from everyday objects around the house, or like when he saw something when he traveled, that could be an inspiration for a product design, So those are some of the things. Then I remember going to some of our earliest factories. I was always engineering inclined, so ended up playing with soldering irons and screwdrivers, and so that's my earliest memory. Just seeing my dad build his business.
Lovely. So, you were good at physics, chemistry in school?
I was not I wouldn't say I was an outstanding student, maybe like literally, but I was pretty good at like math and, just like figuring out science. And I was not very good at memorizing things, but I was good at understanding things. So wherever that could be done, I did well. So
as a father-son duo, what were your working boundaries? What are your working boundaries?
So initially it was, obviously I worked under him. So when I joined the amusement park business because by then he had already branched out into that. And I just found that very exciting because it was a new business and it was completely unrelated to the product design and, manufacturing business that we had. And this is more fun, now he was designing roller coasters and stuff like that. So when I joined the business, my immediate task that was given to me was to expand and bring new rides and new stuff to the park. So I ended up traveling to Europe with my father to go scout for rides and things like that. Initially I was his technical, like a CTO, if you could call it, or something like that. Just understanding technology and how to bring more technology to our parks. So that was my initial thing, and even today that is what I'm passionate about. But of course, now I kind of have a much broader role. I am chairman on the board as well. So I think my dad has had a very linear and slow-paced kind of handoff, if you could say. Like, initially I used to do technology, then I did marketing, logo design, a lot of those things. So, I got introduced and then eventually to the people HR function and then accounts and the CFO's role and things like that. So now he acts as a mentor to us. We still take some of our problems to him, especially something which I don't understand. If it involves, working with governments, which is something that we do, or going to a new state, how to approach the problem. So a lot of these things I still have chats. Probably like guide me into how I should think about it and stuff like that. So it's quite fun.
And how do you all spend time together outside of work?
Outside work, it's mostly with family. There's a lot of we are from large families, so there is a lot of family events that keep happening, and so we end up going for that, or we take small family vacations, just the immediate family, so we end up spending time. So he likes to spend time with his grandkids now. It's more in a leisurely environment, so there is always talk about what are the new things that's happening in the world. I think work never leaves the table as a topic of conversation, but at the same time, we are also interested in other things.
Your engineering education in Melbourne taught you to see amusement parks at a different level.
Mm-hmm.
How you carefully designed systems and coupled with your passion for traveling, visiting over 150 parks worldwide.
Yeah.
How do these experiences or your personal philosophy influence how you define guest happiness and make operational choices?
The way we look at our business is we are a place where people come to enjoy and experience something for the first time, experience a new sensation or a new thrill or a new ride or something that's as simple as maybe like watching a 4D movie. Like it could be a content-led. We want to give new differentiated experience to our guests.
Yes.
That's always been the cornerstone of our business. So it could be a new ride, it could be a new restaurant, it could be a new resort, it could be anything which gives people something that they've not experienced before in an Indian setting. I travel a lot also just to see what's happening in other parts of the world, because now in Asia, especially Southeast Asia, there are a lot of parks that are coming up which are doing different things. Earlier it used to be more Europe and America used to be the innovators. Now I think Indian and also other Asian countries also seeing a lot of innovations in our
Even
sector.
Dubai, I would say.
Dubai is also there. I think there's a lot of action in the Asian side. So I think in India what we are seeing is a lot of technology-led, a lot of immersive content, a lot of animated content, those kind of things I think we are good at. Initially very mechanical feeling rides to now more immersive, more themed attractions. So,
talking about travel and things like that, I know that Dubai has an indoor amusement parks too. Like they've created this whole.
So for that weather, you need
yes,
that.
Yes. So have you thought in those lines too?
Some areas, for example, we are planning a park in Delhi. So there, I think the weather is more extreme.
Yeah.
But the problem with an indoor amusement park is it becomes much more expensive.
Yeah.
It takes a lot more electricity to run it. So I think the scale then becomes smaller, and then a lot of the big rides will not fit into some of these indoor spaces. So I think it's an engineering challenge.
Yeah.
So in our parks, we have more covered areas, not as you may call it, but there's a lot of covered areas, shaded areas, but a lot of trees and nature.
Yeah.
So that's the direction that we have taken, and which is not possible in Dubai. Whereas in India, I think we have rains, we have trees, it's easy to get natural covering on pathways and things like that, which is what we always try to do intentionally.
Yeah.
Our ethos is getting people outside and enjoying the outdoors more than we don't want them to be indoors too much. So that's what we are looking at.
Also, can you share a personal turning point where you felt truly committed to taking Wonderla to the next level and not just managing it but transforming it?
Our company got listed in the stock exchange in 2014. We were a small company with about 100 crore top line. Literally, we had 2 parks, one Kochi and one Bangalore in 2014. So that time to go public was quite hard as well. So, but once we saw that there was a lot of investors in interest in something like this, and that we had built something special in terms of, you know, a competitive advantage, we had an advantage which we could exploit. I think that gave me and the team a lot of confidence to kind of expand further and then, you know, take bigger risks, because amusement parks are a very capital intensive business and very risky also by its nature. It's a very niche business. It's very operationally intense, and there is a lot of risks to be mitigated through various. So if you don't do those things properly, it's very easy for this to kind of fall completely on its face. Because the more you want to do, the cost goes up disproportionately. So how to find that balance? I think after the IPO, we were able to, have I would say, I think the whole team became much more confident about expanding into the business, and I think it opened our door. A lot of doors were opened. So I think that was one of the big turning points. But I think every park launch for us is a turning point, because we are going to a new geography. For example, now we're going to Chennai. We've never been in Chennai before, so we will learn a lot of things, how people behave differently in Chennai compared to, for example, Kochi or Bangalore or Hyderabad. They're all different markets. So I'm sure they will be learning in every step of our journey.
So amongst these parks that you've created at various cities, which one is the closest to your heart and why? Where you've had to face unexpected challenges.
Challenges I've had everywhere, but the one that's probably closest to my heart, the two actually. The one is Cochin, which is our first one, which was designed by my dad in a way. And the one in Bangalore, which is designed by me more, of course, with my dad helping still quite a bit. I think these two are special because these kind of the foundational parks that we designed. Challenges were more in Cochin because we designed with one intention, and then we realized that we should do more. And then so we ended up buying a lot more property and trying to redesign the park into a larger facility when it was still being operational. So I think that was very challenging. The investment that we did in Bangalore was 3 times of what we did in Cochin. So it was a much bigger project, bigger overheads. We had taken a loan. And when we opened, it didn't do well in the first couple of years, which I think created, its own challenges. But I think we were able to overcome it and, show success by the year 3 and 4. Every park has its own different challenges, but closest to heart will be Bangalore for me because this is home city now. But Cochin is also special.
Yeah. Also, you once lost a large sum in a failed attempt to procure a roller coaster from Italy. Looking back, what personal lessons did that setback teach you as a young entrepreneur?
Yeah, so one of the big deals that I tried to do soon after joining the business was try to buy a roller coaster from Scotland. And we met the guy, we shook on a deal and things like that. But later on we realized that the company that was trying to sell the roller coaster to us was already bankrupt. So they took the money and they didn't, come up. Finally, that taught us that we should have more ironclad contracts, pay money to vendors, and have thinking through these things. And even though my dad and we were all aware of a lot of the risks, but some of these things missed us, and which is why we couldn't reclaim it. Sometimes in India we have this feeling that you deal with a foreign company, they will be they'll do everything by the book. Well, it's not the case. People can be dodgy everywhere, so you have to look out for that. So.
You made the conscious choice not to build India's Disneyland, but rather an accessible, high-quality park experience for Indian families. What inspired that vision?
We were inspired by a Disneyland and a Universal Studio, but we knew that the Indian consumer would not have that kind of a spending capacity because we are still a developing country. We were a developing country 40 years ago when I was a child. Even now, we still talk about India as a developing country. So I think we still have a long way to go before we can truly unlock what an Indian consumer can spend on something like this. So we knew early on that we had to build something that was world class, but at the same time accessible for a large section of society. Otherwise, we will not be able to fill up the park with people because amusement park by its very nature requires large crowds to gather and enjoy. So that will not happen if we are a premium brand. We are not a Michelin star restaurant. We are amusement park. So we need to cater to a wider section of society. So, which forced us to kind of look at our business model very closely to see how we could make it cost effective, give people what they want from an experience standpoint, but at the same time make it affordable wherever possible. We looked at our own business model from that angle, and so that's been a part of our brand ethos.
Sure. And what was your proudest moment when Wonderla designed and launched its own in-house ride? Can you walk us through how that moment felt as a leader who backed local engineering?
We have started designing and building rides from 2000 itself when we opened. In fact, even before that, I think the late 90s, before we opened our first park in Cochin, my dad already built a workshop and just started designing some of these rides. So I think it was always part of the business for us that we design and build some of these things ourselves. And when we see the ride finally done and working, it gives us a lot of pleasure because, like for example, the Ferris wheel, the big giant wheel that we have, we wanted a German company to make it first. So they quoted a design fee of 10 crores. And this was in 2005, I think. The design fee that they wanted to design this Ferris wheel was 10 crores. We built the Ferris wheel for 10 crores in India. So, so that's the difference between doing something yourself and buying it from somebody else. So I think we were able to master it at a very early stage in the business. Of course, we need to take into account safety and a lot of other factors. And whether the ride is cool for people, will people want to get on the ride? So that's also important. But we were able to come up with a very unique take on the Ferris wheel, which is we put a Ferris wheel on top of a big tower, which nobody else has done before. So, and that became our iconic ride for all our parks. Our Ferris wheel is iconic. Our Mission Interstellar VR ride is iconic. Wonder Splash is another ride which is unique to us. But we have many. I think over the years, we've built more than 75, 80 rides.
Okay. So developing over these 75, 80 rides in-house is not a joke. It's not a small thing. So what's the story behind building that internal capability? And did you ever feel tempted to just import rides like most parks do? And also, can you just walk us through this creation process of a new ride? Who designs these ideas and how do they get tested? If we can know a little more about it.
A lot of the rides are procured from outside, but then we also sometimes modify those rides to make it Indian or, for example, a roller coaster we buy from somewhere else. We will re-theme it or we will theme it to our design so that it fits into our park. I think it starts from customer insight that people are looking for a new experience. Maybe we should do a high thrill ride, or maybe we should do a family, something like a show, or we will do a water slide. So that decision is taken first, like what kind of attraction are we looking to add? Then we decide, okay, what kind of ride is it? And then whether build versus buy decision. And then, of course, if we decide to, for whatever reason, to build it, then we again do a lot of research into, are there similar rides by other companies? Can we go and inspect it to see how they are built? And then use that know-how to kind of design and build our own rides. So we have a team. Sometimes we work with outside consultants who help us design the engineering aspects of some of these rides. We work with big companies like Bosch and ABB and Siemens. And we first will build a prototype, like a scale prototype, and then see whether everything is working. And then finally, we will build the big ride at its full scale.
Yeah. Also, you significantly increased non-ticket revenues through events and experiences. Was that a calculated shift, or did it evolve naturally in response to guest behavior?
Initially, when we opened our parks in Cochin and Bangalore, this was like 25 years back, people who were still new to consumption, those days we could buy popcorn in a multiplex for like 5 rupees. The movie ticket was only 10 rupees. So now I think now it's completely changed. So what we see is now people are willing to spend more on F&B and merchandise. People expect a higher standard. There are more differentiated offerings. The other big difference was that earlier we used to have other third parties running the restaurants for us because we were not experts at running F&B. But once we had 2 parks, 3 parks, then we realized that the amount of vendors then we had to manage was becoming unwieldy. There were safety concerns, managing third-party vendors for food. The food norms were getting tighter. The quality control was becoming harder. So then we decided to take over all the F&B.
Okay.
So once we took it over and then we created our own larger team running it, then we realized that we could, there are a lot of efficiencies that could be unlocked, and we hired people from different, we have people who have worked in cruise ships, in hotels, in multiplexes, in KFC. We got this mix of people who worked in very different industries, so come up with new ideas. We had also built a resort by then, so then the food became a much more important aspect. So yeah, I think we change with the times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Wonderla Kochi's became first amusement park to earn ISO 14001 and OHSAS 18001 certifications.
Those are environmental and safety.
Yes, absolutely. So what drove that focus on eco-safety, and why was it important to you personally?
From a very early day, we were very clear that we wanted to be as environmentally conscious as possible, use as low resources as possible.
Sure.
Couple of things. One is we didn't want to be wasteful, and again, it comes from a cost angle, but also we didn't want it to be environmentally polluting, because our first park was in a beautiful, it's still in a beautiful, it's in a hill, it's a very ecologically sensitive area. So we didn't want to do anything that would disturb the ecology of the place. So that has always been a big focus for us, and hence we decided to pursue ISO certification for safety and for environmental protection. There's a lot of water treatment, a lot of waste recycling, segregation, a lot of those things happen in our park. So I think it became more and more critical as we grew that we have a proper system to run this. Half of our total electricity load for our parks is done through solar, which is the highest limit that you can
That's wonderful.
you can do. We use very energy efficient lighting. The rides that we design are very energy efficient. We stay away from rides which consume a lot of power. We have water parks, and we have huge vegetation like trees and plants in our parks. So we need to make sure that they are irrigated. So rainwater harvesting is a big part of what we do. We create man-made lakes and then use that water to
Sounds like a lot of planning.
So there's a lot of planning involved in. So when we design the park itself, all this has to be baked into it. So to collect all the water at one source, then you need to design the park in that fashion that it not naturally collects water in a lake, and then use that water to to recycle it and filter it in different forms. We are the only company, I think, which does reverse osmosis treatment for our water, because we wanted the highest quality water to be used, especially drinking water and the water in the pools. We're very particular about the standards.
Yeah. But after 4 parks, have you become an expert in this?
Yeah, I think I would say that. I think we know every time we build a new park, it gets better and better. We monitor how many liters each guest who come to us uses. So we want to bring that under like 20 liters per head.
How do you balance scaling the brand nationwide with staying personally connected to each park's quality and guest experience? Do you still visit personally?
I do try and visit all of our parks multiple times in a year. It's getting harder when we have more parks. It was easy when it was 2 or 3. Now we have 4 and we're building a 5th one. It's getting harder. So, but now I think we have better team structures to look at this on a day-to-day basis. Each park goes to the park head. The responsibility rests with the team. So I think the responsibilities have devolved over the years as we grow as a business, and we kind of try to institutionalize a lot of the things that we do. Staff have been given a lot of freedom to kind of intervene and help if there is any need. So I think that we have evolved our own way of doing things, and I think we train our staff quite a bit before any new park is opened. So I think now there is more emphasis on use of technology to make sure that the guest experience is the right one.
Yeah. Also, with new parks being launched in cities like Bhubaneswar and Chennai, and upcoming ones that are planned, what goes into your decision-making process when choosing the next Wonderla location?
We look at large urban centers. So large cities, tier 1 and tier 2 cities are of interest to us. Or a touristy location, these are all of interest to us. We specialize in building large format amusement parks, so we cannot do too many of them as well. All the tier 1, tier 2 cities, which we have many of in India, are candidates. We are only currently in five states. So I think there's a lot of opportunity in a country like India. We have a large population, young population, few amusement parks which offer a good quality experience for a reasonable price.
Yeah.
It's a tough business, like I said, to expand very quickly, but we are trying. So, and I think we've been successful so far. So hoping
I'm
that we can do
sure.
more.
Yeah. Also, you mentioned diversifying your investments beyond Wonderla, including equities, mutual funds, real estate, and even a dating cum matchmaking startup.
Mm.
So, what drew you to a wide range of ventures, and how do you decide on?
But I do, if I find that interesting companies that are being incubated and built, I would like to. So I have invested in a few startups. I like music. I like traveling. I play the drums. So a lot of these
Yeah.
things, I like to do. And I think some of this is linked to the business. Some of it is not. But yeah.
How do you keep your teammates positive and motivated?
In a business like Wonderla, it's easy because it's a very satisfying business to do because we literally make people happy. That's
Yeah.
our business.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we also are very focused on our customer experience, and we want to make sure that we deliver every single day to all our guests at the equal level. So I think there's a strong sense of purpose that we have. I think all our team members, and I think that helps a lot. And I think I've been very blessed to have a great team to work with. For us, I think it's a little easier because we are in a very direct to consumer business.
Yeah. And how's your experience been working with various partners, architects for your theme parks? So, would you like to share any insights or examples?
When we built our first two parks, we used the same architect, but now I think we like to explore with new people. So I think, again, it broadens your horizon. I think when you work with a broad spectrum of people, if you are open to new ideas, then you also see an evolution in your brand and your design thinking. We do the master planning ourselves, but we use an architect or somebody to kind of give shape to some of the things and, of course, help with some of the master planning as well. But our team is also very equally involved in it. So it's always a collaborative effort, which is why I think for my team also, it's nice that we are giving new experiences, working with new teams.
Yeah.
Instead of working with the same,
Yeah.
monotonous. So I think our business, like I said, is something that that newness has to come through every time we do something. So consciously, we try to work with new people.
Also, you built a company entirely centered around fun. But fun means different things to different people. So, how do you personally define fun when shaping Wonderla's experience, and how has the definition of fun evolved over time?
Earlier, I think our definition of fun is to just bring new experiences. Like, people didn't even know what a water park was like 20 years back.
Yeah.
Now, I think there is a lot more awareness.
Yeah.
Now it's about how do we bring a differentiated experience. If there are many water parks, like how can we be different? How can we do things differently so that what we offer is differentiated enough from what others are doing. I think fun also today involves the F&B and merchandise. That is also part of fun. Earlier, it was more just about doing rides and going on the scariest ride. Now, it doesn't have to be that scary. A lot of content-led attraction, a lot of visual VR attractions. So I think those are some of the broad changes that have happened in the industry. People are looking for thrills and something different, but at the same time, enjoying with their friends and family. I think that's always remained timeless. So some aspects will remain timeless, but some aspects will keep changing with technology and with how society evolves.
Do you see a shift in the demographics of people taking on to a roller coaster? Do you also see senior citizens and has changed?
I think initially when we opened, I think obviously only the daredevils used to go on these rides. But now I think more and more people are open to it. I think we do see the occasional senior citizen going on some of our most extreme rides. But generally, yes, I think the thrill seekers will go for the faster rides, whereas the others will go for the more relaxed ones.
Correct.
But yeah, we have something for everyone.
Your biographies and philosophical reads, like the biography of Elon Musk, what about these really drew you to the books? And are there parts of it that you imbibed in your life?
Yeah, I like to read biographies, especially of people like,
also.
like who are achievers, just to know, how they think,
Yeah.
what they do, and what are the adversities that they have overcome to reach where they have reached. I think it gives you a lot of confidence. Also, it inspires you to take bigger risks
Yeah.
and do some things different from what everybody else is doing. Good biography of a good leader, obviously something like a Elon Musk or Steve Jobs of that ilk. I also read some non-fiction also sometimes,
Nice.
just for fun. Dune, I've read the Dune, I've read Lord of the Rings. This piques my interest.
Yeah. Are you planning to introduce bungee jump also in Wonderla?
Yes, actually, we are planning to introduce bungee jumping in our Cochin Park
Okay.
pretty soon, actually. It
Okay.
might happen in the next few months. Bungee jump and those kind of things are adventure.
Yeah.
It's not an amusement park thing.
Yes.
But I think there are sufficient demand for people wanting to try those kind of things. So we want to just add some of these new experiences to see
New innovations, yeah.
just to see how, how many takers will be there.
And what was your first roller coaster ride like? I mean, do you have any memories or fond memories?
So my first roller coaster ride was at this park called Ocean Park in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
I was maybe preteen, so it was scary. I remember was howling after I got onto it because I didn't expect it to be so intense. I think it's all good. So I think some people, once they go for that roller coaster, they don't want to go on a roller coaster ever again. Fortunately for me, that was not the case. I ended up chasing roller coasters and trying to go on more of them.
What are your top 3 tips for families visiting amusement parks with younger children?
Let the kids decide what they want to do. If they want to do a ride that looks scary to you, but they are confident for going, I don't think we should stop them. Of course, make sure that they follow the safety instructions and stuff. But I think a lot of times I've seen parents, they kind of tell the kids, don't do this, don't do that, But I think it'll be nice if parents also just let them just do their thing, as long as they stick to a few ground rules. That's what I would like to see more of that. And I would like also to see a lot of parents also doing the rides with the kids. When a lot of times when I see the parents are standing,
Down,
waiting,
waiting,
and then the kids are going on the ride. So what prevents you from just, just enjoying some of those rides with your kids? I think that would also be important, especially if you've decided to come to an amusement park. I think a lot of the thrill comes from enjoying it with your children. Yeah, these are the two things that I can think of.
Also, you're competing with gadgets and phones these days. So, how do you plan to market to kids and moms?
I think, we are all addicted to our own gadgets. I think I don't see any exceptions from my parents to our kids. I think everybody is addicted in their own way. We would like to think that we give an alternative to, that, especially if you want to spend some time with your child. I personally practice this. If I want to spend time with my son, I take him for a hike or something. To a place where gadgets are not allowed, are not required, or it don't work. And an amusement park is also a place like that, where a lot of the rides, we don't even allow you to take your phone with you. So I think it's important that everybody spends a little bit of time like that with your near and dear ones to really build a bond.
Who is a creative person in your life who has influenced you greatly and your work?
Disney has somebody who has inspired me quite a bit in terms of like how he thought about rides and how it was different from the other amusement parks. And there was a lot of focus on the emotion, not just the ride. I also get influenced by movies.
Any recommendation?
Blade Runner 2047 is one of my favorite. Then 2001 Space Odyssey, that's a very old one. But I like all the sci-fi movies. Minority Report, Dune. There's so many of them. These are all, and in fact, it also helps us when you imagine a ride or a sci-fi and futuristic designs that you get to see. So I always try and watch or read about, especially sci-fi and fantasy.
I read somewhere that roller coaster loops are never circular.
Yes.
What are the other fun facts that you have learned about roller coaster in your journey?
Yeah, so the reason why the loop is not circular and parabolic is that's the force that needs to, the car goes up the loop it loses the energy rapidly. So the track has to be designed in such a way that when the car goes up and loses its energy, it's also at a position where it can recuperate some of that energy and come back down the loop. Otherwise, it'll get stuck. So it's always designed to have that smoothest experience of going up, decelerating, but then again accelerating again. That's why it's not a circle. But circle will always have the same force, and it doesn't work for a roller coaster. The other one is most of roller coasters. The really good designed roller coasters will not have brakes. Okay. It'll only have, you leave the roller coaster from the top, and then the car only brakes once it comes to the station. But there are now roller coasters which don't do that, which they have to be braked in between and things like that. But the classic roller coasters will not have brakes. You start from one end and end at the station. Okay. And it has to do the full round without any help.
Thanks.
So that's something.
Finally, looking back on your journey so far, what personal philosophy or belief has kept you grounded through all the ups and downs of Wonderla?
I'm somebody who doesn't take things very seriously also. So I think it helps me to kind of navigate the ups and downs and, maintain a little bit of calmness. And like I said, this industry has a lot of moving parts. There are a lot of, you're trusting your team to do the right thing every single day. But I think after you educate your team and tell them the importance of, doing their role to the best of their abilities.
Yeah.
I think the other thing that you need to do is also let go of that control and let other people handle it, because you cannot be at all locations simultaneously. So I think that whole art of letting go and of control and making sure that other people they accept that control, and then you hold them accountable to it. I think those are the.
I love that.
Yeah. So that.
Thank you very much, Arun.
Thank you. It was lovely chatting with you as well.
Same here.
Hope we can chat again soon.
Yes, absolutely.
And that wraps another exciting episode of the Expressions podcast by the New Indian Express. If you enjoyed this conversation, don't keep it to yourself. Share this episode and drop your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear what resonated with you. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications. Stay tuned for more inspiring stories and a brand new episode every Friday right here on the New Indian Express YouTube channel.